Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not sure if this guy is talking about the same person. I'm not any of those things that he actually talked about or mentioned. Good morning, everyone. He has actually given you my name. My name is Ade Shokunbi. I didn't know I was actually going to go first, so I thought I was going to plagiarize or use other people's what they talk about. Anyway, I mean, the butterflies are kind of like rumbling. This is my third speaking publicly about work or anything. I want to start by just giving you a reason why I'm actually here, which is to show some of the things that I have done, which I guess was what made or gave Hassan the audacity to call me up here. So we'll start by looking at some of the things that I started out with. The reason why I always put this picture up anytime I need to talk about my work is that after graduating from School of Architecture, and I went out to start working, this picture on the right-hand side is our foray into becoming an architect builder. Because what happened was we had started the project as architects, as consultants rather, and what happened was the contractor went bust. So the client now asked if we could take over and help complete the project. So that became the initiation of us becoming architect builders. So that's basically how it all started, and it led to where we are, or where I'm at today. So next picture, please. Right, I moved back to Nigeria in 2006, 2007, and when I moved back, sorry, I need to get my bearings right. When I moved back, the first thing that I did was, first of all, find out how I'm actually going to, execute what it is that I've learned, or that I have actually been doing for so long in the UK. So the opportunities did come, and the first project that I did, I'm so sorry about turning my back on you guys. The first project that I did was something at the New Palms. It was I think a crepe shop, and I don't have pictures of that up here today because that wasn't something that I really wanted to talk about. I wanted to, at least give a reason why Hassan brought me up onto this stage today, and that is to just show some of the work that I've done. But since I'm actually here to talk to the young ones coming up, I want to sort of dive straight into, you can see some of these pictures as I'm talking about, why I'm here. Keep going, keep going. I don't want to be too specific about the projects, but this just gives you ideas of what we've been doing. But what I really want to talk about is this notion of the one-man band. There's an image up there that I'm waiting for you to get to, because I've been told that I only have 15 minutes to talk about this. Right. I think we can start from here. The thing about it is that as architects in this environment, we always think that, it is best to try and do everything ourselves. And what we've actually found out, or what I do know, I haven't done it myself, is that you tend to sort of burn out very quickly, and why that tends to happen is that the situation that one finds oneself in doesn't enable to perform at your utmost best if you're like a one-man band. And therefore, what I would like to sort of start with today is to talk about this notion of starting to apply oneself in a way that you're not going to try and execute everything by yourself. You need to sort of come up with this thing that Hassan was talking about, which is to collaborate. And collaboration requires you to sort of find people that, obviously share the same interests, like-minded, however, have different attributes that can complement any kind of situation that you find yourselves in. Take, for example, I know most people want to sort of like be the face of any kind of situation, as in like be the leader or be the ones that, you know, people attribute all this sort of like success to. However, for things to actually work effectively, I think if you were to come up in a situation where there are like 4 different types of people: the architect, the marketer, the sort of like the money guy, because finance in all situations is very key. However, if you have like those kind of ingredients in this melting pot, it tends to kind of like give you the opportunity or opportunities to sort of like succeed and not burn out. Burnout being that if you're like the only one who's doing your books, you're the only one who's doing your design, you're the only ones who do all the things that tend to be the case when you're like a one-man band, nothing gets done effectively. So the idea is to sort of like find yourself amongst people that can hopefully, you know, God, I didn't know this was going to be this nerve-wracking. I mean, I did have a plan, and I did have a script, but it seems to have just all disappeared. But the point that I'm actually basically trying to make effectively is that if we don't all come together as a group, you know, because I thought of this notion that, well, since if we were trying to do anything generally, finance can be a problem. I don't know how many people in the audience right now. If we were to say that, you know what, each person should put 10,000 naira into a kitty right now for the purpose of achieving a project, I don't know how much that will be based on how many people here, but Hassan told me that there's a likelihood of about, I don't know, how many people do you say would be here? We don't know. But anyway, for example, you saw like come together in that kind of instance where money is put into a pot. Whatever projects that you're trying to achieve, most likely, if you can't find money from any other source, can be achieved that way. And I think one of the problems, I mean, one thing that I do know is one of the biggest things that we tend to do here, especially during Asher B or whatever the occasion is that we have to contribute money. I feel like if we can take that notion or that same principle and apply it to whatever type of project that one needs to do, there is a likelihood of being able to sort of like raise finance to achieve a purpose. Yes, thank you. I had a real good script, I swear to God, but it's just gone all haywire. The start of the incubator. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The reason why we talk about the startup and the incubator thing is about something that I also mentioned earlier, and that is, you know, finding people who have different strengths and coming together in order to be able to sort of like achieve a purpose. So something that has happened during my course here is when this project came up. This is about this collaborative effort that I was trying to talk about. Where this project came up some years, a year ago, or 2 years ago, I should say, a friend of mine who's an architect, Papa Mataya, called me up and said, oh, I have a project that, you know, we've been asked to design and build, but I don't have the skills or what it would take to actually achieve this, you know, so how about we join forces and try and put this thing together? And I was like, no problem. You know, I mean, fine, fair enough. Usually, I mean, one of our policies in our office is that we don't build anything somebody else has designed. We like to try and achieve, you know, whatever it is we've designed by ourselves. But anyway, I felt like, you know, this is a time where all efforts can be put into one pot and hopefully come up with a result that, you know, makes a difference. So this was something for Access Bank, FinTech, that we did. That required, I think, about 16 containers. But anyway, the point is, we were the ones who helped MOE realize whatever it is that they had come up with and achieved the end result, which is, I don't know if anyone has actually seen this building, which is in VI. The truth is, election time is coming up, 2019, and what I want you guys to do is this. I want you to do something that some of the money bags out there do. And that is, when they see that election time is coming, they start putting out favors, or sorry, paying for favors later on. What they do is, like, you know, start putting serious money into the kitty of the aspirants in hope that once the person gets in, there can be lots of, you know, return or returns for those favors. So what I want you guys to do is this, is to think of one situation, and that is that whatever you feel is lacking, or whatever you feel that can make a difference to your communities, is to group together as one, come up with a plan. You can make a difference with your vote, because, I don't know, with the number of people here, if you were to be in one single ward, you can definitely make a difference to who eventually does win that ward. So therefore, if there are things that you feel like, or policies that can be effective, because without policy, I mean, there's nothing. So if you can put something that can be put to whoever the aspirant is, that listen, if you want to secure your votes, if you want us to vote for you, how about take some of these ideas that we have, and I hope, or we are sure, to help deliver some of these votes that are required. So, I mean, it's something that I want you guys to, hopefully, as a seed, try and make it so, like, you know, make more sense. Maybe I'm not making sense right now, I'm sure, but if you put it together in your, and talk about it amongst yourselves, and put it to the policymakers, I believe that this probably could be the beginning of how we can start to make change in this, our environment. I'm so sorry that, you know, I'm a little bit disjointed with what I'm actually saying to you guys. I swear, if you come to me one-on-one, I could make more sense than I'm doing speaking in front of you guys. So, my name is Ade Shokunbi. I'm still here for a few minutes. After the show, please come up to me. I'll have a word with you, and I promise you I'll make more sense than I'm making right now. Okay? So, sincerely, from your heart, I'm sorry that I didn't, I mean, the script, I thought I could be like a good rapper and kind of like come off the dome. But, you know, it didn't work out for me today. But like I said, Hassan, I promise you, give me another chance, I would nail it. I'm so sorry, guys. You know, I guess you could tell I was very nervous.
My name is Mrs. Bill Stevens, and I represent Comet Star Electricals. In the light of collaborative efforts for new entrants into the industry, how do we collaborate with architectural firms?
How do you collaborate with architectural firms?
Yes.
Well, what I was actually hoping to say earlier, but didn't come out for whatever reasons, I had one of those Eminem 8 Mile moments. The thing is, one of the things that I think young guys need to do, yeah, I think I'm getting into my zone now. What I think what young guys need to do is not wait for clients to come and knock on your doors. I think one of the problems that tends to lead from one zone to the other is that generally young architects are so demoralized at schools of architecture. From what I've actually seen, I've been to a couple of crits at Unilag, and I see how, I'll get to your question, but I just wanted to sort of like lay a premise here, is they demoralize them so badly in terms of how, you know, during what you call jurors here, I call it crits, but during those moments where, you know, I think students tend to lose their voice because generally lecturers or whatever completely disregard where they're coming from. I'm sure there are like some strong students who actually, you know, manage to deal with it. So what tends to happen is by the time they come out into the real world, their level of communication, I know I'm suffering from it, but the level of communication that they have with clients, with people like that, tends to be somewhat limited. They've lost so much confidence, so they can't really talk about their work. So, you know, it builds a situation where I feel maybe the way to deal with this, which I was trying to sort of like bang on earlier, which is if you group yourselves together and find out what your strongest point is, or what your strongest skill is in that group, you can play your position and hopefully use that. Because, for example, in any situation, especially these days, you have to have someone that is very good at marketing. Because if you're not a good marketer, the likelihood of you being able to sort of like swim in the shark-fested waters that are out there now is going to be almost impossible. So if we're looking for a situation where, to answer your question, if these young architects can form some kind of group or some kind of understanding whereby, you know, they have managed to put most of whatever these requests or the requirements or the policies or whatever, you know, what most companies out there in the West would call their R&D, if they can group together and have things in place, thereby the likes of yourself that want to collaborate with these architects, there's information, there's what I would call, you know, this is what I've already done situation. They can hopefully tie into some of the requirements or the kind of briefs that you guys may have. He's telling me I have 1 minute. So if anyone wants to meet with you, they're already in a group that can hopefully satisfy your requirements. I think that one of the problems is everybody wants to stand by themselves. You know, I just want to be me. And most times they don't have enough to sort of like provide once they're in that kind of position or situation.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
I actually have 3 questions.
I don't think they're going to allow it. Okay. But I tell you what, the way I'm carried on today, I might be able to answer it in 2 seconds.
They're all tied into each other.
Sorry?
They're all tied into each other.
Okay, good.
My first question is, why did you come back to Nigeria?
Okay.
My second question is, I'm familiar with some of your work, most recently the one you did at VGC, and it's quite different from what you would ordinarily see. So I would like you to speak on holding on to your originality as against compromising for the sake of you know, the financial aspect, the business itself. And I'd like you to just speak to that, if there's a balance to be found somewhere. And my final question is, how many years, if you could estimate, how many years would you allow for working for someone else before you branch out on your own? Thank you.
Okay, cool. Nice questions, and thank you. I think I can answer those ones. Why did I come back? The reason was someone had invited me to come and help work on a project here. So that was why I came back. And when I came back, I found out that, listen, man, there's no point in going back to the UK because I really enjoyed it. And I felt like low-hanging fruits. I had a lot to offer myself and others. So that's why I stayed after coming back. Then the question about how long do you have to stay working, doing stuff for yourself before you working for others before you branch out? Well, the truth of the matter is there shouldn't be any time limit. However, one needs to gain a level of experience and professionalism. One thing I also wanted to point out here is that whoever hasn't done their professional exams yet or is planning to do it, please ensure that you do. I think we need to make the institute, the NIA, much stronger, and it can't be done with people on the outside. You have to be within that association in order to make it stronger. Right now we're having issues with, with Archon and NIA and so on, so that would blow over with time. However, you should take it upon yourselves to at least, you know, have that target of becoming a professional, because otherwise you will be seen as quarks. And being seen as quarks doesn't actually give you a strong position to sort of like fight the cause. So how long do you sort of like work for someone? Like I said, there shouldn't really be a time limit. You know, if you're like the type of person that you've managed to sort of like, you know, associate yourself with someone that can bring out the best in you, why not just go out and do your own thing? You know, I mean, like I said though, don't go out as a single person and try and fight your corner. Try and team up with others, like-minded, you know, build up that critical mass just so that you can provide the kind of service that I believe is required. Sometimes, you know, people are trying to do everything themselves, then they're delivering on nothing, you know. So how long does it take? Just work it out yourself, you know. And it's also about what your interests are. You know, for me, I'm the kind of architect that I like to build. I mean, so if you have passion for it, and if you're very passionate about anything, really, that is what is key, you know. So time limit is all up to the individual. I mean, some people are fast learners or quick learners, but within this terrain, I think if you're not associated with the kind of people that can, you know, at least keep you balanced, it is a very tough environment to be in. What was your third question, sir?
My third question was if you could speak to compromising your design philosophies for the sake of...
Well, I think luckily for me, the compromise or the level of compromise has diminished over time. I think when I was starting out in this environment where I believe that the client was the chief, I did make some compromises, or I did allow that to happen. However, these days, I take on jobs that I feel like I can add value to, that I'm not going to compromise on. And what I have found myself, you know, getting stronger in is this thing of wanting to do the kind of projects that are for John Doe. You know, my partner and I have decided that we're not necessarily going to be like, you know, just taking on projects that we have to deal with clients, basically. We want to be our own clients. So by being our own clients, there's no room for compromise anymore. You know, compromise has now gotten to a point where obviously we have to look at what our market is, you know, and make sure that it suits it. So I don't know if that's a compromise, but generally we've tried to sort of like get over that whole notion of compromising what it is that we believe in, you know. But the thing that you have to always take into consideration when you're doing anything basically is cost, quality, and time. If you don't compromise on any of those things, you kind of come out with a very good end result.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
I thought you said I had 1 minute.
Thank you so much for your sincerity, sir. My question basically is based on collaboration. Yes, collaboration is very good, but on what basis should architects collaborate? We've had cases of colleagues in the university coming out and saying, let's collaborate, or should it be basically for business? We have issues of cooperation in Africa, issues of trust. On what basis should we collaborate?
Trust is always going to be a problem. That's why I always say that, you know, find out. I mean, hold on 1 second, don't turn your back, sir. You have friends, right? Obviously, I mean, rhetorical question, but you have friends. And you have the ones that you get on very well with. Okay, I'm just using this as an analogy. And you have people that you could feel that they have your back, okay? So whenever you want to sort of like be in some kind of collaboration, first of all, try and see how you can make that situation conducive based on those principles. You know, you don't want to go collaborate with somebody that, you know, you feel like doesn't have your back or is going to cheat you or something like that. So, you know, once you know who all those people are and you feel comfortable to collaborate with them, that's the start. Then the next thing is, do you share the same values? Do you share the same ideas? You know, because if you're not passionate about what you're about to embark on, likelihood is that you're not going to give it your all. You know, it's going to have like so many flaws. So it's about getting the right mix. I mean, the project that we collaborated on there, the reality of that project was that it wasn't a good project. You know, it was a disaster in one aspect, but you have to always look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that if I hadn't collaborated with Papa on that project, most likely I wouldn't have had that experience of that finished product. But, you know, try and learn from other people's mistakes. You don't have to go through what I went through, you know, and then just do you. Whatever's going to work for you, just do you. Seriously, because I can say everything that, you know, could make you say, yeah, that's exactly what I want to go and do, and it won't be like that. So just do you, yeah? But like I said, the critical thing is to have passion for whatever it is that you get into. Seriously, because without that, it's not going to work. I had passion, that's why I continued to carry on with that project till the end. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for architect Ade Shokunbi once more.
Thank you very much, Thank you very much, guys. And like I said, I'm not very good speaking in public, but if anyone has questions along the lines of what we've actually discussed today, or that I tried to discuss today, after the what do you call this thing? The show, or the whatever, please come up to me. I can assure you that I will make a lot more sense. Oh, by the way, I want to acknowledge a couple of people here, aside of Hassan. Kaiser, we're collaborating right now. And you know the funny thing about what I was trying to say to you earlier with like, know who you're going to collaborate with, blah, blah, blah. I've never met this gentleman until today. Even when I met him earlier, I just greeted him like, oh yeah, how are you doing? But we're both doing something right now that is so damn important to me. We're doing a 500-seater lecture theater in Lasso. And I swear to God, I wasn't paid a penny for that project. But, I mean, he is getting a lot of money for it, but hey, you know what I'm saying? He has a better marketing and a business person that works with him. But no, point is, we're doing a collaboration. I want to kind of like say to him that he's an indigenous, what we term as an indigenous construction firm. And, you know, I worked with Ella Land before on a project that you saw up there, and I saw, basically, we actually did most of the work for these guys. But I want to say that from what I have seen that Kaiser are doing, I know they're doing a project for my friend J.K. Randall, whatever. Level of professionalism, man. I salute you. So we have to keep it indigenous. I'm sorry for taking more time. I just thought I'm beginning to warm up a little.
Thank you very, very, very much.
My goodness.
And thanks for the great answers to the questions asked.